such exertion for a simple move.
Gods!
Oh-ho! You still have much to learn. Attack with confidence!
Xander, you're too strong. I can't land a single blow. What's your secret?
There is no secret. Only years upon years of hard training. If you wish to reach this level, you must never give up.
So, there's hope? You think one day I could be your equal?
Of course, with the right guidance, you could surpass me. But it will not be easy.
Oh, you're kidding! I find your support encouraging.
Tell me, what is it that motivates you? Why do you crave strength and power?
So I can protect the people I love.
That is a noble aim. But what of your lineage? You will be king, will you not?
Not a chance. If my father taught me anything, it's that kings are weak. I won't end up like him, that's for sure. My sister may take the crown for all I care. I'm focused on the sword.
Are you so sure about your father?
Of course I am. I've been told that he was often sick and could barely fight.
Ah, but have you considered that fighting is not the only way to wield power? Faith, conviction, and intelligence will always win over brute strength.
I don't understand.
When I imagine your father, I think of the villagers and people who followed him. Why do you think they followed him? If he was so feeble physically?
I don't care. If I don't have the strength to protect everyone, I'm nothing. Forgive me. I understand your point, but I can't look up to my father.
One should not speak of one's own father that way. I suggest you learn from his wisdom while cultivating the strength you crave. After all, there are kings both mighty and wise, like my own father, King Corrin.
So, your father is both a fearsome warrior and a wise leader?
Yes, he isn't perfect, but he has no lack of strength or conviction. That is why I am devoted to him, no matter what. I apologize. This is not about me. This is about your path to the throne. You would be wise to expand your goals beyond mere physical strength.
Yes, you're probably right.
With that said, this lesson is not over. Come and get me!
All right, put your guard up. I intend to actually land a blow this time.
Hey, Xander, look at those rabbits. I think they're a family.
Where? Oh, I see them. I don't think I ever saw those in Nor.
Oh, and look at the plumage on that bird. Remarkable.
Well, it seems you're becoming quite the naturalist.
I guess you could say that. Or I'm just making up for all those years in Nor. You know, this might sound odd given our situation, but I'm happier than ever. I missed so much being trapped in an ancient fortress.
I feel different here too. That I wasn't confined in Nor like you were. I am happy to see you in such high spirits.
I could say the same thing about you. In Nor, you always looked so dour. Whenever I saw someone with that look, I told them to stop feeling so Xander.
Oof, really? I had no idea. I always thought I was in a reasonably good mood.
You just always seem to be frowning.
Well, I always strove to display an air of dignity. When I was much younger, some visiting dignitaries told me I appeared casual. The implication being that I was not behaving like a firstborn prince.
So, your serious demeanor was a reaction to that? I suppose you also must have been exhausted from all your training.
In fact, that was because I was hurrying to get to your fortress.
You hurried to see me? It wasn't like I was going anywhere.
I know you're teasing, Corrin, but it is still a sensitive subject for me.
I'm sorry, Xander. I didn't mean to cross the line. I'm just happy to be able to wander beyond old castle walls. All my life, you were this stern presence. But now, I finally feel like we can have a normal relationship.
You're right. I must relinquish the stoicism I held for so many years.
There's no Nor or Hoshido in this world, Xander. We're free from that conflict and hatred.
I never realized how much that must have weighed on you.
I'm sorry, Xander. It's just that I think we could all stand to lighten up a bit.
By all, I assume you also speak of those from Hoshido.
Yes, absolutely. We should put aside all of our differences, don't you think?
Because it is you asking, I will consider your request.
Thank you, Xander. Shall we get started with a quick visit to the Hoshiden tent?
You're going to need to give me a little time to get used to this.
Oh, come on, brother. What could possibly go wrong?
Hey, Xander, look at those rabbits. I think they're a family.
Where? Oh, I see them. I don't think I ever saw those in Nor.
Oh, and look at the plumage on that bird. Remarkable.
Well, it seems you're becoming quite the naturalist.
I guess you could say that. Or I'm just making up for all those years in Nor. You know, this might sound odd given our situation, but I'm happier than ever. I missed so much being trapped in an ancient fortress.
I feel different here too. But I wasn't confined in Nor like you were. I am happy to see you in such high spirits.
I could say the same thing about you. In Nor, you always looked so dour. Whenever I saw someone with that look, I told them to stop feeling so Xander.
Oof, really? I had no idea. I always thought I was in a reasonably good mood.
You just always seemed to be frowning.
Well, I always strove to display an air of dignity. When I was much younger, some visiting dignitaries told me I appeared casual. The implication being that I was not behaving like a firstborn prince.
So your serious demeanor was a reaction to that? I suppose you also must have been exhausted from all your training.
In fact, that was because I was hurrying to get to your fortress.
You hurried to see me? It wasn't like I was going anywhere.
I know you're teasing, Corrin, but it is still a sensitive subject for me.
I'm sorry, Xander. I didn't mean to cross the line. I'm just happy to be able to wander beyond old castle walls. All my life, you were this stern presence, but now I finally feel like we can have a normal relationship.
You're right. I must relinquish the stoicism I held for so many years.
There's no Nor or Hoshido in this world, Xander. We're free from that conflict and hatred.
I never realized how much that must have weighed on you.
I'm sorry, Xander. It's just that I think we could all stand to lighten up a bit.
By all, I assume you also speak of those from Hoshido.
Yes, absolutely. We should put aside all of our differences, don't you think?
Because it is you asking, I will consider your request.
Thank you, Xander. Shall we get started with a quick visit to the Hoshiden tent?
You're going to need to give me a little time to get used to this.
Oh, come on, brother. What could possibly go wrong?
Huh. Only 90 out of 100 bullseyes today. Pathetic. Guess I'd better re-rack. I'm not leaving here until I hit 96 or more.
Prince Takumi, what are you still doing out here? It's getting dark. Have you been at this all day? Surely you require a break.
No, not until I'm satisfied with my performance. Why do you care anyway?
Because training too hard will actually worsen your skills, and we need you.
Yeah, well, that's easy for you to say. You've already mastered your weapon. Me? I don't have the luxury of rest.
Haha, the luxury of rest. Prince Takumi, listen well. When I was around your age, I trained much like you do, to excess.
Is that so?
Oh yes, I often trained until I could no longer hold a sword. I was proud of my efforts, until I realized I was in fact setting myself back. I spent almost as much time bedridden from exhaustion as I did actual training.
I still have a hard time seeing you fail at anything.
That was not my only folly. Another time I wandered off to fight faceless alone. In the dark forests of Nor, I lost sight of the trail back home. I wandered lost for days. When finally I returned, I was parched and near death.
How could you have done something so reckless?
The same reason you're out here shooting arrows in the dark. Pride. I was impatient. I thought I could become powerful quickly. But there is no shortcut. If you train too hard, you will get hurt. I never realized before how much you remind me of myself.
Xander, I can tell that you speak the truth, but I simply can't wait.
Yes, you're as stubborn as I was too. Well, I have an idea. Prince Takumi, allow me to join you in your training.
Are you serious?
If you're going to be reckless, you may as well have some supervision. As someone who has been where you are now, I can offer guidance. And I can pull you back just when you're about to go over the limit.
Well, I certainly won't turn down training from a skilled warrior.
Excellent. We can begin once you've taken a short break. The last thing I want to see is your arm in a sling from too much training.
Thank you, Xander. Just don't get mad when I upstage you in battle.
I'll worry about that when it happens.
All right. I'll see you back here tomorrow at dawn. You won't regret this, Xander. Thanks again.
Did you write these War Council briefs, Robin? I don't recognize the handwriting.
I did. I've just been trying to make my script a little more legible. Actually, I got the idea from you, Lord Xander. Your writing is so polished. What a difference it makes when you can actually read what you just wrote.
Indeed. It's heartening to see someone skilled like you seek self-improvement. My retainers, Perry and Laszlo, do not show the same drive.
Really? Maybe they just don't like to talk about it.
I don't know about that. If there's one thing Laszlo likes to do, it's talk. He's great at his work when he's not too busy flirting to do it.
I see. But what about Perry? I've heard stories of her bloodlust on the battlefield.
Oh, Perry has her quirks, one of which is not sitting still for more than a minute. She's irreplaceable in battle, but as for the less violent parts of the job...
You need Laszlo, despite his flirtatious tendencies. You know, charm's not the worst quality to have.
That's what I used to think as well. Until he started reporting for duty in tears, worked up over his latest rejection.
I don't envy you there, Lord Xander.
I just wish there was a way to curb his desire for female attention.
That is a challenging proposition. Let me think. Maybe what he really needs is a little more confidence. Couldn't you give him some kind of pep talk?
I'm not sure I feel comfortable getting so, personal with my retainers.
Quite right. My apologies. Wait. I've got it. What if all his interactions with women led him back to something work-related?
An interesting thought. But how could that be accomplished?
The next time Laszlo has his heart set on a young lady, you should hire her. That way, whenever he thinks about her, he will also think about work.
You have confidence in this plan?
I do. I have complete confidence.
Then perhaps I'll give it a go. You've been quite helpful today, Robin. You've given me hope that Laszlo might someday improve.
It's an honor to assist you, Lord Xander. I'd be happy to help whenever you need me.
Thank you. I'll be coming to you for more brilliant ideas soon enough. Did you write these War Council briefs, Robin? I don't recognize the handwriting.
I did. I've just been trying to make my script a little more legible. Actually, I got the idea from you, Lord Xander. Your writing is so polished. What a difference it makes when you can actually read what you just wrote.
Indeed. It's heartening to see someone skilled like you seek self-improvement. My retainers, Perry and Laszlo, do not show the same drive.
Really? Maybe they just don't like to talk about it.
I don't know about that. If there's one thing Laszlo likes to do, it's talk. He's great at his work when he's not too busy flirting to do it.
I see. But what about Perry? I've heard stories of her bloodlust on the battlefield.
Oh, Perry has her quirks, one of which is not sitting still for more than a minute. She's irreplaceable in battle, but as for the less violent parts of the job...
You need Laszlo, despite his flirtatious tendencies. You know, charm's not the worst quality to have.
That's what I used to think as well. Until he started reporting for duty in tears, worked up over his latest rejection.
I don't envy you there, Lord Xander.
I just wish there was a way to curb his desire for female attention.
That is a challenging proposition. Let me think. Maybe what he really needs is a little more confidence. Couldn't you give him some kind of pep talk?
I'm not sure I feel comfortable getting so, personal with my retainers.
Quite right. My apologies. Wait, I've got it! What if all his interactions with women led him back to something work-related?
An interesting thought. But how could that be accomplished?
The next time Laszlo has his heart set on a young lady, you should hire her. That way, whenever he thinks about her, he will also think about work.
You have confidence in this plan?
I do. I have complete confidence.
Then perhaps I'll give it a go. You've been quite helpful today, Robin. You've given me hope that Laszlo might someday improve.
It's an honor to assist you, Lord Xander. I'd be happy to help whenever you need me.
Thank you. I'll be coming to you for more brilliant ideas soon enough.
Xander, perfect timing. People really look up to you, right? Frederick and Ryoma are tall, but you really stand out.
I suppose you might say I cast a long shadow.
I'm not making a metaphor. I'm wondering how you got so tall. I want to be taller, but I can't seem to grow an inch.
Oh, well, I guess you are a bit on the delicate side.
Don't call me delicate.
I'm just repeating what Crom said.
Oh, I can't believe he told you that.
Don't be embarrassed. In my youth, I too wanted little more than to grow up.
I knew you'd understand. I want to look all grown up already. I want to be beautiful and graceful like my sister, or like Camilla. But I'm not nearly as tall as either of them.
I see. Now that I think about it, Elise has had similar concerns lately. But if you're looking for some secret way to grow, well, I did nothing special.
Aw, there aren't any tricks you can think of? Like tying your hands and feet to different horses to stretch yourself out?
That is not as effective as one would think. If anything, it was my strict training regimen. I've always been very active. And this may be obvious, but eating right is very important. Do you have a balanced diet?
Actually, I have selective taste buds. I just can't stand foods that smell or anything that's super tough. Like bear meat. I can't believe that it's so popular with some people. It's exactly what I don't want to eat.
Maybe you've just never had it cooked properly. I enjoy a nice fatty cut.
Yuck, you sound just like Robin.
I can teach you how to cook it. If you boil it right, you can get rid of the smell.
Ugh, well, if I eat that, maybe I'll become more bear-like?
I'm having trouble picturing you with fur.
Ugh, I meant as tall as a bear. I'll try doing the things you said, and just you watch my progress. I'll train every day and eat so much bear meat that one day I'll be bigger than you. And then I'll look down at you and make you change your name to Mr. Delicate.
If anyone can do that, Lissa, I'm sure it's you. I'm still growing myself. I must always continue to grow as a prince of Nor.
But there's no way you can get any taller, Xander.
I'm not speaking in terms of height. I look forward to seeing your progress. Very impressive, Frederick. You were in complete command of that battle. A flawless performance.
Thank you, my lord. That is high praise indeed coming from you.
I still have much to learn. Would you grant me the honor of a sparring session sometime? I would love to add Elysian swordplay to my repertoire.
Gladly, my lord. Similarly, I am curious about Norian battle techniques.
Excellent. Now, don't hold back. Be honest if you see any flaws in my form.
Of course, Prince Xander.
Whew. So, what do you say?
Well, if there is one small criticism to be made, I believe you may be focusing too intently on your form.
Interesting. I suppose I am a bit obsessed with that. I could adapt more freely to an enemy's movements in battle.
Perhaps, but let me caution you. Lord Crom is notorious for this. He is brilliant at improvisation, but occasionally he loses focus. At its worst, it leads to wild, ineffective flailing, the opposite of your approach.
I see. So perhaps a balanced approach is best.
That would be my recommendation. I apologize if I've overstepped my place.
Frederick, please. You've given me exactly what I needed. Honest feedback.
Thank you, my lord. I am impressed by your drive for improvement.
Well, I have no choice but to be dedicated. I am not a natural talent.
Is dedication itself not a talent? Who else would continue to push himself as you do?
Careful. You're encouraging me to work even harder.
Please, don't overdo it, my lord.
Thank you again. Still, I endeavor to become Crom's equal in battle.
You are closer than you think. You've only just learned Elysian swordplay, and yet I can see that you've already incorporated elements of it in battle.
Well, give me a few more days and let me see what else I can show you.
I look forward to it. I will do my best to keep up.
This has been most agreeable. I'm glad we were able to learn from each other. It reminds me of sparring with my father. If we could do this again sometime, I'd appreciate it.
It would be an honor, my lord. Rest assured, I'll give it everything I've got.
You can count on me to do the same. Good day, Frederick.
What are you doing, Prince Xander? The fight's barely finished and you're already neck-deep in paper.
Yes, well, I record and make notes on my performance after every battle. As Norian royalty, I must always be trying to improve myself.
I can say without a doubt your battle performance requires no improvement. In fact, everything you've done is intimidating. I admire the way you handle yourself, on and off the battlefield.
I appreciate that, but in my opinion, I'm still not good enough. When I think of how my father was in his prime, well, I pale in comparison.
I can't imagine someone more imposing than you.
I didn't have to imagine it. He was a powerful king and an inspiring leader. He always stood on the front line in battle, ready to fight for his kingdom.
I'm envious that you have a father to look up to, especially one like that.
Yes, well, that was a long time ago.
Did I say something wrong?
No. Why don't you tell me about your father, Prince Marth? If he's anything like you, he must be a splendid king.
Years ago, he sought to aid an allied kingdom and never returned.
So your father is... I had no idea. My apologies for my insensitivity.
Don't worry. There's no way you could have known.
Though it seems my assumptions were correct. He was a great hero? To give one's own life in the name of the people is the mark of a true king. No doubt his strength and honor live on in you. I see how you fight for your friends and for the people of Aetolis. Your father would be proud.
Thank you. I hope that's the case. I often wonder what my father would think of me now.
Leadership comes very naturally to you. I, on the other hand, have to work at it.
I think you're underestimating yourself, Prince Xander. The way you describe King Garen is exactly how I'd describe you.
That's kind of you to say.
It's also the truth. You know, it's nice to have someone else to talk to about the life of a prince. I believe we could learn a lot from one another. Like how not to be so hard on ourselves.
I suppose spending some more time together wouldn't be a bad idea. Perhaps we'll both be better princes as a result. Celica, there you are. I've just heard quite an interesting rumor about you.
Oh no. What was it?
Nothing egregious, of course. Just that you come from a royal bloodline.
That's true, Xander. You didn't know that I'm the Princess of Zofia?
Oh, my apologies. I did not mean to offend. It's just your demeanor, rather than dignified and stoic, you're merciful and compassionate.
Well, for the most part, I was raised in a monastery. So maybe that's what threw you off.
Perhaps. Tell me, how did a member of a royal family come to live at a priory?
By the time I was born, the kingdom of Zofia had already become unstable. I was forced to leave the palace, but luckily I met a protector of sorts. I stayed with him a while, until I was forced to go into hiding.
I don't know what to say. I'm sorry for bringing up this terrible experience.
Don't be. If it hadn't happened, I never would have found my calling as a priestess.
Really? I assumed you chose that path because your royal status put you at risk.
Not at all. If people knew I was still alive, they'd start a war on my behalf. What to say would destroy them. I have no interest in starting another war.
I cannot believe this. Lady Celica, you are willing to watch your kingdom fall into ruin just to avoid bloodshed? That's a betrayal of your people. If a kingdom is in chaos, it is the duty of a royal to put an end to it.
Even if that means asking people to risk their lives and everything they have?
Of course. A royal must not only protect the kingdom, but the future of its people.
No. I couldn't bear to see the people I love be sent off to their certain demise.
It's not easy, but neither is condemning them to a life of sadness and oppression.
That's not what I'm trying to do.
You hate war and respect peace and kindness. Those are good qualities. Yes, war leads to death, but some causes are worth the sacrifice. You were born to carry the weight of that responsibility.
You're right. Maybe I've turned my back on my kingdom for too long. Thank you for reminding me of who I am and of my duty to my people.
I hope I haven't overstepped too much. Even I need to be reminded of my royal responsibilities every now and again. In fact, this conversation has made me anxious to get back to my kingdom.
I don't blame you. But there are people who need saving here first.
True. If I can't save this kingdom, then I will never be able to save my own. Until we return home, I'm honored to fight by your side, Lady Celica.
and I'm honored to fight beside you. But now, we should rest while we can.
Lindis? Is there something on my face?
No, sorry, I didn't mean to stare. I just think back to my friends at home every time I see you.
In the world from which you came, you mean?
Yes, I didn't mean to be rude staring at you.
That matters not to me. Tell me about these friends of yours.
Oh, they're a pair of knights, Kent and Sane, in service to my house. Kent's a hard worker. He'd go to any lengths to protect me. He always stands guard personally at my tent when we camp, just to be sure.
I'm impressed that you inspire such loyalty in your retainers. Would that mine would display some measure of that diligence.
Sane, though, I'm a little nervous I'm not there to keep an eye on him. He's decent at heart, but he gets a little carried away with the ladies.
You're saying he's a rake?
Exactly. When we first met, he fell so hard for me, he forgot he was a knight. We're friends, don't get me wrong, but his runaway heart drives me crazy.
You don't say. I have a retainer with the same problem.
Really?
When on guard, he flirts with the clerks. On patrol, he chats up milkmaids. I set him to keep the peace, and he draws complaints against the castle. Forgive me, I lost my composure momentarily.
Oh, don't worry, I've been there. It's funny that we have this in common. Besides, it did me good to see you lose your temper for once.
Clearly. You've lost that wistful look I first approached you about. A minor flare of temper is a small price to pay for that.
You weren't worried about me, I hope.
Every so often, it's plain by your face that you're longing for home. You arrived alone in this world. I cannot fault you for missing your friends.
Thanks, Xander. I really appreciate the thought. I do miss my friends sometimes. But it's not like I'm alone. I've been here long enough to make new friends.
In my world, my retainers are irreplaceable companions. There are times I wish I could say as much to them. I do get lonely.
Me, I'm happy enough here. It's good to remember my friends from home. And when that's not enough, I have people like you to cheer me up.
Friendships that reach beyond worlds. I feel them too.
Excuse me, Xander. Have you seen Corrin lately?
I have not, but I seek Corrin as well. Let's combine our efforts. I was just about to check the main tents.
I already looked in there.
Perhaps off with a friend, then.
I've spoken with most of the camp, actually.
Azura, just how long have you been searching?
Oh, only a few hours.
Why didn't you come to me sooner?
Well, I thought I'd be able to find Corrin on my own. It's such a small matter. I didn't feel comfortable asking for help. I don't want to be a bother unless it's absolutely necessary.
You should never hesitate to call on me, no matter how minor the problem. We may not share blood, but I still think of you as a little sister.
You don't have to say that just to make me feel better, but thank you.
I always speak sincerely, Azura. When Hoshido kidnapped you, I felt like I had lost family. I still regret that I could do nothing to stop it. Please allow me to support you now, if only to make up for previous failures.
Are you sure? As the Crown Prince of Nor, you must be very busy. I don't want to burden you with my small troubles.
I can appreciate that, but it's my duty as an older sibling to protect you. It may seem that I'm cold to others, that my ultimate obligation is to Nor, but I assure you, in my heart, I care for my family just as much as I care for Nor. Should you ever need anything, no matter how minor, you can call on me.
Thank you, Xander. You know, you've been so kind to me ever since we came here. But it wasn't until we spoke today that I understood why.
Then I'm glad we had a chance to connect like this.
From this day forward, I promise to lean on you when I need to.
Excellent, Azura. And for my part, I'll be certain never to let you down.
I'm excited for our future, big brother.
It means a lot to hear you call me that.
Come on, let's figure out where Corrin went. Where should we check?
I'd almost forgotten. What about the stables? Did you check there?
I wouldn't have even thought to check there. Let's go.
Slow down, Azura!
Lord Xander? Is something wrong? You're staring at me.
Yes. My apologies. I didn't mean to stare. I was lost in thought. It's just that when I look at you, Olivia, I'm reminded of my retainer back in Nor. You and he are entirely different, and yet, somehow, there's a resemblance.
Completely different, yet alike? How strange. Tell me more.
Well, his name is Laszlo. As I mentioned, he's one of my retainers. You share certain airs and mannerisms, and you both embarrass easily as well.
He gets embarrassed easily too, huh? Well, that's certainly spot on.
Come to think of it, I've seen him dancing off by himself. He's quite skilled, too.
He's a dancer too. Wow, we really are alike.
In some ways, but you are also wildly different. He lacks some propriety. He's always going to town to flirt, and he tends to land himself in trouble.
That seems rather out of character for someone as shy as you say.
I've received endless complaints. I tried scolding him, but he doesn't listen. He's otherwise an excellent man. He's good at his job, skilled with the sword.
In other words, you're saying you don't hate him for the trouble he causes, right?
Right. Of course I don't hate him. Laszlo is my retainer. And I care for him.
You sure start looking wistful when you talk about him, Lord Xander. Like a father who adores his troublesome son, despite the aggravation.
Perhaps I am a bit like a father figure to him. Gods! My idea of fatherhood did not involve mentoring a large adult son.
But I think you'd make a great father. So dependable and responsible. I, on the other hand, won't make a very good mother if I ever end up having kids.
But any child of yours is sure to turn out to be a spectacular dancer.
You think so? I've always thought I'd teach my children all sorts of dances. If I could dance my favorite routine with my child one day, I'd be overjoyed.
That is a nice thought.
And I'd hope my child would one day fall in with someone as caring as you, my lord.
I'm sure a child of yours would be a fine, non-philanderous retainer. I hope that any future child of yours has a wonderful fate in store for them.
Thank you, Lord Xander. Sincerely. But this all feels a bit strange. When we first met, I never imagined we'd be able to speak so casually.
I see. Is that why you've always seemed so nervous around me?
Yes, but I'm not nervous anymore. Now I know how kind you are. And I look forward to our future talks.
As do I, Olivia.